Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition and a $58 billion bailout that I think every single Dungeons & Dragons fan should support, specifically for the American movie theater, the American movie theater industry. Now, also every single American Dungeons & Dragons fan. Actually, no. I guess, you know what? Actually, I'm wrong about that. Every single Dungeons & Dragons fan should support this. All right, let's go. All right. So, why on earth should Dungeons & Dragons fans support a $58 billion bailout of the American movie theater industry? It's pretty simple. Here we go. Okay. So, one, right now, all right, here's a good example. I'm not sure if everybody has experienced this, but I certainly have, right? The dollar store sells these desiccated sponges, right? You go to the dollar store, and they sell you a sponge in the shape of a dinosaur, okay? And it's desiccated, it's dried out, and it's shriveled, okay? But you can see it's a tiny little dinosaur, right? It's about as big as a quarter. And then you just pour some water on it, and boof, it goes to literally 10 times the size, right? Right now, Dungeons & Dragons is outrageously desiccated. It is incredibly undervalued. It's exactly like Marvel was in the 80s. Nobody knows the real value of Dungeons & Dragons, okay? Now, why is that? Well, right now, Dungeons & Dragons is connected to an absolutely horrible business model, which is tabletop role-playing games. Tabletop role-playing games are 350-page hardback rule books, which is, and print books are barely even a viable medium anymore. And once you buy that 350-page rule book, actually, you're going to buy $150 worth of books, 3 books, right? You could play for 10 years and never buy another book. You could have a ton of fun with that. It is a horrible business model, absolutely horrible model. And frankly, when you ask your player base to give you another $150 8 years later, they do nothing but complain. It is an atrocious business model, okay? Now, you know what's a good business model? When your intellectual property, which Dungeons & Dragons is an intellectual property, gets mega boosted by a American celebrity movie franchise, the likes of the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, Kevin Feige has shown the map for how you do a successful movie franchise, okay? The first time when we had a Dungeons & Dragons movie, nobody knew how to do this. Now there's literally a map you can follow, okay? Now, unfortunately, Warner Brothers can't follow that map. They can't do it successfully with the DC, with their DC IPs. That's another story, okay? You just need to hire a skilled director, a skilled producer, like a skilled, overarching architect like Kevin Feige, and put the right people in place, and you have a multi-billion-dollar franchise, okay? That will be the mega boost on Dungeons & Dragons. We have not really seen the real value of Dungeons & Dragons, and we will never see it until we get a successful trilogy movie series, at least. If not, like Star Wars, a trilogy, a prequel trilogy, a trilogy and a sequel trilogy, and another sequel trilogy, okay? That's billions of dollars, and then Dungeons & Dragons takes its true form, its true value, okay? Now, the reality is we can't let this happen. We can't let Dungeons & Dragons suffer a desiccated fate, never having the water put on it, never allowing it to hit its 10-time form, okay? And here's the thing. If we do not have a Dungeons & Dragons movie franchise that can exist in American theaters, then D&D will die in a desiccated form. Then D&D will die in a desiccated form, okay? Dungeons & Dragons will continue, but it will never reach its true evolution, right? So that means we need the movie theaters to get going again, okay? Not immediately, right? A year from now or 2 years from now. But right now in America, if you ain't paying attention, AMC, Cinemark, Regal, they are having huge problems, okay? Here's how you fix it. $58 billion bailout. Oh, that's so much money. No, it's not. It's a fraction. It's like a tenth of the government's annual military budget. It's nothing. It's a rounding error, okay? $58 billion. You split that up across America's 5,800 movie theaters, giving them each $10 million to stay shuttered for 1 year and to open up on a ramp, right? We're not just going to throw the doors open in a year. But with $10 million, every single movie theater can go dark for as much as 2 years, and either 1 year or 2 years from now, you could relaunch the whole ball of wax. This saves the American movie industry, okay? And this saves Dungeons and Dragons' future, which is intimately, very carefully tied to the American movie theater industry. If the American movie theater industry does not kick over and restart, Dungeons and Dragons will be massively, massively damaged as an IP, right? Because it'll never get its Marvel boost. And that's what it deserves, and that's what it has the capacity to do, right? We can get there. So, in my opinion, find out who your senator is. If you're American, find out who your senator is. Find out who your governor is. Find out who your senator is. Find out who your House representative is. And write them a nice letter. Give them a nice call. Send them a nice email. And be nice. Be respectful. And say, please put forward a $58 billion bailout for the movie industry. You don't have to say it's for D&D, but you know that's the real reason. That's what I think we should all do. What do you think? Do you think that's a good idea? Do you think that'll help Dungeons and Dragons assume its true nature, its true form, its true evolution? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.